You're cruising down an open highway. Everything is moving perfectly. Then, out of nowhere, you're staring at the glaring red brake lights of the car in front of you. You come to a complete dead stop. You sit there, inching forward for 10 minutes. But when you finally reach the spot where the gridlock supposedly started, there's nothing. No crash on the shoulder, no construction crew, not even a pothole. Physicists have a name for this. They call it a phantom traffic jam. We naturally want to blame these delays on a terrible driver, an accident, or a badly designed off-ramp. But a phantom jam doesn't require any of those external roadblocks. Without any physical obstacle in the way, the actual cause of this gridlock comes down to a biological limitation inside the drivers themselves. It starts with a microscopic change in momentum. Imagine a driver glancing down at their radio for just a fraction of a second, forcing them to tap their brakes to adjust their distance. Humans have a biological processing delay. The person behind that first driver doesn't react instantly. They react a tiny bit late, which forces them to brake just a little bit harder to avoid clipping a bumper. This creates a compounding chain reaction. Each driver brakes harder than the last, until someone stops entirely. The stopping motion creates a wave, moving backward through the traffic at 15 to 20 kilometers per hour, independent of the physical car's pusher forward. Traffic jams function as living, moving, fluid dynamic shockwaves. They are temporary structures of high density, powered and sustained by the constant cycle of human reaction delays. To prove this happens spontaneously, researchers in Japan set up a physical experiment. They placed a group of drivers on a continuous circular track. The instructions were incredibly simple. Maintain a constant speed, do not pass, do not stop. Within minutes, the smooth flow broke down. With no intersections and no outside interference, dead-stop traffic jams formed entirely on their own. The math is absolute. Pack enough human reaction times tightly together, and gridlock is inevitable. If tight spacing causes these ripples, the obvious solution seems to be adding more lanes to spread the cars out. Urban planners run into a paradox called induced demand. Expanding a highway model from 2 lanes to 4 seems to solve the problem, but the extra space temporarily makes driving easier, encouraging more people to drive. Within months, the new lanes completely fill up. Adding more concrete doesn't cure congestion. It just creates a much larger, more expensive medium for those spontaneous human shockwaves to travel through. Since we can't alter human biology and we can't build infinite roads, eliminating the shockwaves requires a different tactic: forced smoothness. Adaptive cruise control and AI-assisted vehicles don't get distracted. They monitor the distance to the car ahead and adjust their speed with mechanical consistency, completely bypassing our biological lag. Studies show that introducing just a tiny fraction of these AI-assisted cars into a crowded highway acts like a system-wide shock absorber. They maintain a steady buffer, actively braking those backward-traveling waves before they can compound. This split-screen image illustrates a scientific principle that extends far beyond your morning commute. It's called emergence. It is the phenomenon where incredibly complex, large-scale patterns arise strictly from thousands of simple, ordinary behaviors interacting with one another. You see emergence when isolated panic selling creates a massive financial crash, or when uncoordinated online interactions build an overnight viral trend. Massive societal gridlocks, from highway stalls to economic collapses, require no villains or masterminds. They are the inevitable result of millions of ordinary people making perfectly reasonable choices. Every day, our individual decisions aggregate to form the very systems that eventually trap us.